ഗുഡ് ഈവനിങ് മാഷെ. കേൾക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല. മാഷ് മ്യൂട്ടിലാണോ അതോ ഞാൻ മ്യൂട്ടിലാണോ?
മ്യൂട്ടിലാണ്. ഇപ്പൊ ശരിയായി. അപ്പൊ എങ്ങനെയാ അനൂപ് മറ്റേ വേറെ ഒരു ഞാൻ ആ മാജിക്, അതായത് മീറ്റ് ദ ഇൻഫ്ലുവൻഷ്യൽ പീപ്പിൾ ഓഫ് ദ സിറ്റി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് അനൂപിന്റെ ഒക്കെ പടം വെച്ചിട്ട് നമുക്കൊരു കടലാസ് തന്നിരുന്നു. അതിന്റെ അടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ ഞാൻ അതിനകത്ത് അനൂപിന്റെ പടം ഉണ്ട് എന്നുള്ളതിന്റെ അടിസ്ഥാനത്തിൽ ഞാനും അതിനകത്ത് പോകാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. അപ്പൊ നോക്കിയപ്പോ ഞാൻ അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിൽ ഒരേ സമയത്ത് രണ്ടിടത്ത് അനൂപ് പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന സൂത്രം അഞ്ചരക്ക് ഇവിടെയും ഏറ്റിട്ടുണ്ട്, അതിലും ഏറ്റിട്ടുണ്ട്. ഞാൻ അങ്ങനെ കൗതുകപൂർവ്വം ഈ രണ്ട് സ്ഥലത്തും ഒരേ സമയത്ത് പങ്കെടുക്കുന്ന സൂത്രം എന്താണെന്ന്
പോയായിരുന്നോ?
ഇല്ല, ഞാനപ്പോ അതുകൊണ്ട് അനൂപ്പെടുത്ത സൂത്രം ഞാനും എടുത്തു.
ഞാനേ ഇന്ന് മറ്റേ ഫണ്ട് ഓഫ് ഫണ്ട്സിന്റെ മീറ്റിംഗ് ആയിരുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അതങ്ങനെ നീണ്ടു ഉച്ചയോടെ കഴിയേണ്ടതായിരുന്നു. പക്ഷെ അത് നീണ്ടങ്ങ് പോയി. അപ്പൊ അത് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് സത്യം പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ 3:30 തീർന്നപ്പോ. അപ്പൊ അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് പിന്നെ സജി സാർ ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. മറ്റേ ഒരു റോബിനോ
നമുക്ക് സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം സാർ മീറ്റിംഗ്.
പിന്നെ എബ്രാം സാർ എത്തിയോ?
എബ്രാം സാർ എത്തിയിട്ടില്ല.
റിയാസേ
I'll check it.
ഹലോ സർ. നമുക്ക് തുടങ്ങാം സർ. എബ്രാം സാർ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ് സർ.
We can start.
എബ്രാം സാർ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തോളാം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു.
Good evening all. Thank you for joining the webinar on building talent for the future by Knowledge Economy Mission. A brief introduction about KKEM, an initiative by KDISC that aims to provide employment to the highly talented skill pool in our state by transforming the talented skill pool in our state by transforming the state of Kerala into knowledge society. Knowledge Economy Mission targets to provide gainful employment to 20 lakhs people over the next 5 years in various sectors and job verticals. Today's webinar focuses on providing insights about KKEM and its various activities that are focused on building a talented workforce for the future and also explores the support system and offering provided by the KDIS and KKEM for startups. To tell you in detail about this, we are joined by an elite panel from the government organizations working closely with the startup ecosystem. We are joined by Sri Anup Ambika, CEO, Kerala Startup Mission, Dr. K.M. Abraham, Executive Vice Chairman, KDISC, Dr. P.V. Unnikrishnan, Member Secretary, Kerala Development Innovation Strategy Council, Sri P.M. Riaz, General Manager, KKEM. Thank you all for joining. KSM being one of the partners of KKEM helps in supporting its activity and achieving the set targets by 2026. KSM will be supporting with KKEM to run the initiatives. Welcome all. Let's invite Sri Anup Ambika for giving an opening remark about today's session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vishal. Yeah, I think I'll start with a little bit of a setting the tone kind of a speech. Like most of you already know, Government of Kerala has embarked upon a mission to employ 20 lakh people in the next 5 years, by year 2026, actually. It is an ambitious target, and every one of us will have a role to play in creating that employment. And startups and startup mission will definitely contribute to the number of jobs that are getting created. That is the primary premise under which this meeting is being called for. Now, the second thing that we often hear from all our startups is that you're not able to hire the right kind of people. So a dearth of talent is something that has been highlighted by many companies as a problem in getting things faster to market. So definitely people are looking for, good human resources. That is my second point. And the third point is that the advantage of the startup world is that unlike the services industry, you really do not have to look for experienced resources. Because if you are actually doing a work for a multinational company, that company might insist that I will only engage a person who have got 5 years or 10 years of experience. But for us startups, what really matters is whether a person can do the job or not. We don't usually care whether the person is a graduate or the person is a PhD. It doesn't matter for us. As long as he can do the work, we will be happy to engage, which means that it opens up a large arena of resources who can be upskilled, who might be actually very talented, which can be used by the startups to deliver the products fast and get to market faster in a cheaper fashion oftentimes. So these are the three premises under which we are working on. And what we really want to do is for startups to make use of the digital workforce management system and also give us an indication about what are some of the requirements that you have. It could be, for some, it can be AngularJS. For some, it can be, backend programming, microservices, databases. And I'm only talking about it from a software perspective because most of these trainings are going to happen in that front. So anybody who's working on developing tech platforms, fintech, retail tech, enterprise software, software as a service, etc., if you have specific areas in which you're not able to find people, what we would propose to you is this: you can go to digital workforce management system, identify a resource that is close to your requirement, the closest to your requirement, and the system is powerful enough to get you that resource that is closest to your requirements, which I'm assuming that will be demonstrated just right after this introduction. And if you can actually get the right kind of resources, or probably the best end resources that you might be willing to consider, then we will be able to actually kind of upskill them a little bit and fine tune that resources in a way that he or she matches your requirements. And how do we structure all these things? We will figure it out. But the idea is this: you have a requirement, you let us know the requirement, we will be able to figure out the right candidate from the system or right candidates from the system. You can go ahead and interview them and find out if there is a skill gap. If there is a skill gap, then we will try and fill that skill gap and give the resource back to you. And that way you will have better resources to play around with. And I would like to welcome Dr. P.V. Unnikrishnan, who is here today, who is the member secretary of KDISC and who is driving this whole initiative. We also have PM Riaz, who is the general manager of Knowledge Economy Mission, who is actually the prime point of contact when it comes to such initiatives. I don't know if Abraham sir has joined, but we are also expecting Dr. K.M. Abraham to join us and enlighten us a little bit more about the power of the digital workforce management system and how that could turn out to be a game-changing application for the state. So I welcome each and every one of you to this program and look forward to having some solid discussions and engagement on digital workforce management system in the days to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for giving an opening remark about the program. So next I'm inviting Dr. P.V. Unnikrishnan, sir, to give an introduction about KKM and also the various support systems provided by KDISC for startups, and also explain about the digital work management system. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you for the Startup Mission to have created an opportunity for an interaction with startup founders on the possibility of building the talent for the future together with the startup ecosystem. So first of all, Anu talked about digital workforce management system. I'm extremely proud to tell you that the digital workforce management system itself has been built with the participation of startups. And KDISC won the award, the Platinum Award from the President of India for this particular category, collaboration with startups. So the digital workforce management system is not an alien platform for you, but it is very much created by people from within your fraternity. That's the first point which I would like to make. Anup had indicated the win-win relationships that we can build. We are facing a number of challenges in terms of basically putting freshers onto jobs. We are working out apprenticeships, then internships and a variety of modes for that. Now, yesterday in one of the discussions which has been organized by GTech, in fact, one of the startup founders was there, and she was talking about, what Anup had said. For MNCs, you require, people with experience and with very specific expertise and things like that, which will be required for MNC delivery. Now, the problem is that the startups will not be in a position generally to hire people with that level of experience because those resources are very costly. So this precisely was the point which the startup founder had yesterday discussed in our, breakup session in the GTech conference. So what she was saying is that this is a good option where the startups can come and look at the freshers who are actually suitable for delivering many of the jobs. Now, in doing so, the freshers will gain because they would have a better picture of the, when you are working on a big project in a very large establishment, the chances of you getting a better view of the big picture of the whole thing and then playing around with the solution is quite unlikely. Whereas when you're working in a startup, the possibility of you to understand the concepts much better is much more. So we can actually work out a sort of a very good win-win situation of partnership, of looking at freshers. I'm not limiting the option to freshers. You can also get some experience resource also out of DWMS. But as Anu pointed out, it would be very useful to look at the possibility of getting good freshers. And if there is a skill gap, we are ready to build that skill gap and give it as per your requirements. So that is the second level of partnership that we are looking at. And now the third one, I was just looking at the KDIS portfolio. Now we have around 35 odd projects on emerging technology, in which we have engaged a variety of startups in the state. The blood bag traceability project, which is now going to be scaled up at the state level, it has brought in BACMO. So here what we do is that we get in a startup with the support of the startup mission, identify the startup, and we position that startup, we help them perfect the technology, we provide them a contextualization in the particular government solution, and we also help them improve the technology readiness through a scaffolding process with an expert mentorship from our team, and then make them ready for scale up. So BACMO was a very good solution. In 2019, we got hold of that. Now this is one of the biggest projects that they are getting into. Consumer billing applications, we have eSphere Technologies, BIS code, secure storage-based EHR system, Accubits. I don't know whether you call it Accubits, a startup or, a larger company. AI-based facial recognition on CCTV video, Avidit Systems Private Limited. All these startups are not from Kerala. Some of the startups are from outside. We have made it a point that if we go to a scale up, then it is important that they have to establish a presence here. We make it mandatory that they should register with the startup mission. Smart Crop Insurance, Mistio, AR/VR based training for Kerala Police, TNQ, Engage Private Limited, Kerala Land Record Management using blockchain Accubits, antibiotic policy applications, off-campus technologies limited. So I have a list of nearly 30 projects where we are working with startups on POCs and pilots with various government departments, which we are taking forward. And similarly, now we are getting into one local government, one idea, where again we are partnering with the startup mission and various other institutions, KIDA, Kerala Institute of Local Administration, Center for Management Development, and IRTC. We have just released the first request for the initial or the pilot of OLOI, which Anup had been arguing for, that we should have a few cohort of local bodies to come forward and then come up with their solutions. So we have just rolled out that yesterday. IKM had given the entry forms. We are getting the data. So within a few days, we have the first set of problems. We are going to get a lot of problems from local governments in the days to come, which, of course, all of them are not IT. They pertain to agriculture, animal husbandry, fisheries, education, health, child welfare, old age, and a variety of these themes. 27 themes have been identified. In all these, we are looking forward to startup solutions for addressing the problems. So it's a huge opportunity for startups to work with us, because creating the talent pool doesn't only mean using the, getting the talent pool from within the state, training them, and then using them and putting them in enterprises. It also means application of the resources, the capabilities, and improving the capabilities of the potential of the enterprises or the startups which are coming up. And that actually can happen through the POCs and the pilots, which we work in the innovation arena. So there's huge opportunity for startups to associate with KDISC and the Knowledge Mission to take forward this transition of Kerala to the knowledge economy. Innovation is a major driver, and that is where the startups are in the driving role, and KDISC is there to support you and take you forward in the area of innovation as well as in the area of employability, skilling, and addressing the issue of unemployment of the educated industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. P.V. Unnikrishnan, sir, for explaining about the support system provided by KDISC and the future opportunities which is provided by KDISC for the startups. So next I'm inviting Sri Priyas PM, a General Manager for Kerala Knowledge Economy Mission. So sir will be explaining about the offerings by Kerala Knowledge Economy Mission. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Vishal. I do a small presentation. Just, I think, can you just, I just send you the presentation. Can you just present it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So primarily this meeting, I'm glad actually because I back to the startup arena because I worked over a couple of years with the startups, and one of the key elements which both the KDISC as well as the Knowledge Mission is highly piggybacking on the startup ecosystem in the state. I'm not sure whether the Deepu of Zapier or Nisha of the Channel IM or Joseph of the RIAP is part of this team. Why I mentioned this is these names, because when we developed our the digital workforce management system, we conceived this as a platform of platform, and we onboarded all these major startups from Kerala as a solution provider itself. That is the power, or that is the opportunity window the startups can leverage it. Vishal, would it be possible for you to present that?
Yes, yes, yes. Just 1 minute.
So one of the key elements of the Knowledge Mission, as both Anup and Dr. Unnikrishnan has rightly mentioned, focusing on providing employment. Having said that, job creation is one of the critical elements and debating across the globe. And within Kerala, our 5-year plan clearly mentioned that small enterprises will play a pivotal role in the job creation itself. So in that context, we designed this digital workforce management system. Primarily, this as one of the key challenges being a startup founder we used to face would be sourcing the right talent. Many times we may not be able to spend time to get a right talent in our initial time itself. And when I was working with the startup mission itself, I always observed that many times, especially both in Trivandrum and Cochin, the startups spend a lot of time for interviewing the candidate itself. This solution would take away one of the pain points which startup founders. This is not a typical talent platform. This is more than a typical job site. This has 3 components. One is the jobs, and there is a skill component. There is a career support, basically a curation method. In the job component, you people can actually post your requirement, and you can use this as a opportunity to find the talent in both not only the full-time jobs. If it is a project-based job, you can share that requirement as well. The second aspect would be that many of our startups generally depends on interns to do our work. That also can be served through this portal itself. So then the second element of this portal primarily looking after the skill enhancement of the candidate itself. So we onboarded a number of players as a provider, skill providers, to enrich the skilling aspect of the job aspirant itself. One of the thing the startups can use this would be that many of the edtech startups or skilling startup, they can take up or they can come as a partner also. That is one aspect startups can leverage the larger bouquet of services. You may not realize the volume of business the Knowledge Mission going to bring into that space. We need to train around 35 lakh candidates over next 5 years. If we put together all the skilling agencies, conventional skilling agencies, they would be able to train only 1.5 lakh in a year. But our target is to train around 6 to 7 lakh a year. So you can imagine the volume. And if you convert that into monetary terms, that will go to around a larger course actually, average cost. So that is a volume actually startups working in that skilling space or in the edtech space can leverage itself. We shall next one. Yeah. So the good part of the Knowledge Mission is we are not merely connecting job seekers with the employers or with the in this case startup founders. Instead, you provide your requirement and our mechanism will curate the candidates for you. That might be through probably the candidates has taken a psychometric assessment and aptitude has been properly calculated. Then we help them to connect a career counselor. Thereafter, we even in certain cases, if we wanted to improve their proficiency in the communication, then we'll focus on the personality development thing. Then many of the skill programs will offer it. So that means a curated set of talent pool would be available to the startup founders. Because this is one element you can actually leverage if you are in the scaling up stage or if you are looking for a larger arena of talent. Next one, please. Again, these are all some of the elements you can leverage the platform. One, as I mentioned earlier, whatever may be your requirement, whether it is a freelance requirement or a project requirement or a full-time or even that you can properly publish it, because the number of job seekers within this portal is around almost 1.12 lakhs, 1.2 million. Almost candidates are already onboarded, and then more number of candidates are adding day by day. So whatever you publish, that will reach out to this much a number of job seekers. And most exciting part would be that based on the job description, the system will recommend you or the candidates align with the job description itself. So that the first level of curation will automatically happen itself. The second thing is that many of the startups may not have a proper manpower recruitment tool. This system can actually use as your manpower recruitment plan tool as well as a pure HR tool itself. The entire interview process or the recruitment process can be taken through this DWMS platform, starting from the posting the job description and putting the various selection process. Say for example, in certain cases, you may need to get candidates having a good coding skill itself. So we can add some screening tests in the portal itself. And after that, we may need to do a HR round so that we can fix the interviewer, and those details can be done. And even in the system, there is a provision for the robotic interview also is there. So you can use that itself. So yeah, what I'm trying to communicate would be that this can be used as a proper HR tool itself. That is the second thing. And as I mentioned earlier, this is an opportunity for you to attract internship because large number of students are onboarding into the system itself. And now we are more focusing on the recruit, train, and deploy model itself. Once you found a candidate who meets minimal level of requirement itself, then probably there is a mechanism exists to train them to meet your expectation. Then thereafter, you can give a final offer letter itself. So what I'm trying to communicate here would be that there is a mechanism through this DWMS to source right talent itself. So this can be used for that purpose. Shall next one. So this is just to give a, because I'm not sure how many of you are actually use this facility. As of now, there are 12 lakh job seekers already registered. 10,000 plus jobs are there. There are 200 plus skill programs. Are there, counselors are. It's this is what I mentioned. This is more than a typical job site. This we can customize according to your needs. Say, for example, a particular company needs candidates, 10 candidates in a particular job role itself. That may be a programming side, or even in the business development side itself. We can do a support service to provide you that particular number of candidates in that particular job category itself. So these are all some of the statistics. Okay, next one. So even I just taken some of the elements for some other purpose. So there is almost 1.2 lakh job seekers with the IT background are available as of in the system itself. Even in that, if you are looking for a female candidate, or if you want to do geographic specific itself, say for example, someone who work in the Alapur area, you are looking for a candidate from a Alapur area, we can get the details itself. You can do it without anyone support itself. In case if you want additional support more than because most of the platforms will work with the support of the external service itself. So we have a mechanism to reach out to the candidates. There is a dedicated call center facilities there. There is a WhatsApp service facilities there. There is a chatbot facilities there. And besides, there is a dedicated set of manpower are assigned with this particular task itself. So you people can use this as an extended HR arm of your startup, because in the startup space, only let us focus only on our core business itself. Rest of the things you can take it up. So that is the point I would like to emphasize. Yeah. Again, with the technical qualification, I just took it at basically their technical qualification background itself. So freshers are there. A good number of experienced people also is available in the platform as of now, right now. Yeah. This is the this is how employer you in this case a founder can see the job seekers resume before curating them or before inviting them for the interview itself. So you will get this dashboard in your portal itself once you log in the system itself. Each of you will get such a dashboard, and in which how many candidates have applied, shown interest, how many of them applied, how many you shortlisted, how many have scheduled for interview, how many got selected. All these details you can provide in the platform itself. So, yeah. Next. And in the interview process, you can add score against each of the candidate also. And one of the key elements which I wanted to emphasize here, because if you even if you are rejecting a candidate, if you are able to provide some inputs with respect to the rejection, that would help us to design new programs and share with the skill service providers itself, so that they will work towards designing a programs based on your requirement or an industry requirement itself. Yeah, next one. So that's all. That's all. What I'm trying to communicate would be that use knowledge missions, various initiatives as a add-on to your activities. One would be use this as a HR development tool. The second thing that any of you are interested in providing and training program, you can join that as a training provider. And we also are facing lot of challenges in various aspects. Say for example, assessment is a key element. If you have a solution, proper solution, you can offer that thing. And yeah, or else one of other element we are working is that a gig economy space. If you have a solution to offer in the gig economy space, if you have a platform, we are happy to onboard you. And we are also coming up with a larger network of distributed network of place called work near home thing. So if you have a solution to help augment the work near home facilities, we would be happy to onboard you. That's all. So this is we thought this meeting is a primarily to give you a glimpse of the activities we are doing it. And as soon as you start using the services and the solutions, then probably we can come up with the new schemes and all other services as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ria sir, for wonderfully explaining about the activities and offerings by digital work management software by Kerala Knowledge Economy Mission. I'm sure that the vision created by the KKM will achieve on before its targets itself, and may our state become a knowledge society by next 5 years. Dr. K.M. Abraham sir was supposed to give an introduction about, not an introduction, given talk about how knowledge economy mission will be supporting to build the highly build talent for the future by knowledge economy mission. But unfortunately, sir was not able to join the meeting. He has to attend some important meeting. So we will be opening up for the question answer session. So if you have any questions, you may put it in chat or you can raise your hand. We will give an opportunity to talk with the interact with the officials. Over to you, participants. Jolly?
Yeah, hi. Hi, sir. So my question is to Ria, sir. Sir, like, two questions from my end. First one is like, what is the login procedure to get the, access to this? Like, if you can a little bit explain this. The other one is like, is there any possibility to tackle, this frontline workforce also through the system?
Sorry, I didn't get the second question.
Frontline workforce. Frontline workforce.
What do you mean by the
frontline means like so we are into healthcare segment, and we need a lot of professionals from this healthcare background, right? So you were basically like talking about IT engineers and all, like it's fine, but however, like what is the possibility to get the talent with all this basic qualification like +2, that GDA course and all those things?
Of course, I'm sorry. This my presentation was slightly biased towards IT, but in our database, all the I think most of the background profiles are already available. Especially in the healthcare, we have a huge number of candidates are already available. And replying to your first question, you can actually, because for us, our demand aggregation management unit is ICT Academy. They are the managing thing. You can we can issue, because since all these startups are affiliated with the KCM is a mechanism of the unique ID. So we would be able to share the logins to the interested startups.
Okay.
So then you can start sourcing the candidate from this side itself. And one more good thing is that right now, with organization like ASAP and ICT Academy, we are going to the campuses. Yesterday, we launched the Kerala Skill Express. Primarily focus is to onboard the final year students as a new employee. So that would be one window startups can actually leverage.
Okay.
Thank you, Jolly. Next, Mr. Rajesh. Rajesh. Hello, Mr. Rajesh,
Hi, can you hear me?
we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So, thank you, Riyaz sir. First of all, thanks a lot for the initiative. We are already a beneficiary of the KKEM and ICT Academy programs. We have already hired a couple of team members to our team after interview process. And all the shortlisting was actually done using the application. So a minor suggestion I have is the current AI system, what is in place, is probably not yet mature for a live use case, because that some of the mapping is not very accurate. I think it will mature as time progresses. I'm coming from a data background, so I very well understand how these systems are developed. So, and another thing is about the assessment, as Riyaz sir very well said. So, we would like to see a assessment platform also part of the system, so that some amount of automation we can do in terms of identifying the candidates through. Basically, we want to look for candidates who are already putting in hard work in terms of developing their skills. So a resume, more than a resume-based screening, especially at the fresher level, more objective evaluation can be done when we have the candidates showcasing their capabilities through some assessment exams, like basically Python or any JavaScript languages. If they can do the assignments and showcase their skills there, that will give them an objective advantage. So yeah, this is probably more of a feedback from my side in terms of using the application and collaborating with KKEM and ICT Academy. So yeah, I again appreciate the initiative, and I really think it is adding a lot of value to the system. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for the feedback.
Any more questions from participants? Hello, am I audible to you? Any questions? So I think there is no questions from startup side, and thank you.
So, good evening, all. With this Q&A, we have come to the conclusion of the webinar on building the talent for the future. Let me extend the gratitude on behalf of the organizations. I thank Dr. P.V. Unnikrishnan, Member Secretary, KDIS, for explaining the different supports offered to startups from KDIS to the audience. Thank you, sir. I also thank Mr. P.M. Riyaz, General Manager, KKEM, for putting clarity on the offerings from KKEM for the startups. Thank you, sir. Now I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Anup Ambika, CEO of Kerala Startup Mission, for his constant support and encouragement. Thank you, sir. I also extend my gratitude to Dr. K.M. Abraham, Executive Vice Chairperson, KDIS, for his spearheading the novel initiative. Last but not the least, I thank all the startup founders who have joined and made the event very resourceful. Thank you all for joining.